dear viewers, welcome to the 20's. Yes, the 20's brings 20 brilliant Indians from across the world, sharing their new definition of success with you all. Along with me, Dr. Nirmala Krishnan, presenting to you from Education News Network, a part of Education Today Network channel. Today we are here to meet a very interesting personality. Yes, he's been an international badminton champ. He runs an NGO and takes care of so many tribal people and children. And he also inspires and motivates those who are looking forward to joining the defense. We are talking about Hrithwik Manish Ambek. Let me give you a formal introduction of this young gentleman. Hrithwik began to play badminton at the age of 11, holds 140th World Tour ranking until now, has represented our country India and qualified at all 6 international level tournaments held in Dubai, Nepal, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Germany and India. Hrithwik has represented India at the Yonex Sunrise India Series Super Series 500. Super Series Tour 500 is the highest international championship held in India. He was invited to play for the team in the Bundesliga 2019, one of the world's renowned leagues in Europe in Germany. He is also one of the youngest player from our country to have played the German league, Bundesliga, which is the national league in Germany. Although badminton remains Hrithwik's passion, he is inspired to join the Indian Armed Forces. He firmly believes in the motto, service for the nation. Hence, he has associated himself with a lot of social activities. At the age of 13, he started a campaign named Tribus, which began with the support of Vicky Patil Memorial School way back in 2012. He is the founder of Tribus organization, a non-government organization that focuses on upliftment and welfare issues among tribal communities across Maharashtra. Tribus works for the upliftment of tribal culture and tribal welfare by helping them with their basic needs like clothes, food grains, books for children, and basic health care through awareness programs. Tribus has reached out to more than 4,000 plus tribes with clothes, toys, books, and many more things across Maharashtra. Hrithwik has also founded a forum called the Tug of Words, which is a pan-India online debating forum designed predominantly for the defense aspirants. Besides sports and social work, this young gentleman is a globetrotter and has traveled more than 7 countries. Dear viewers, I take pride in welcoming Hrithwik. Hrithwik has also founded a baker featured in the 20's for his grit, hard work and smart thinking. Welcome to the show, Hrithwik.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. And it is an honor to be here on Education News Networking and to be a part of the 20's. Thank you so much, ma'am. I am really honored to be here.
Lovely, lovely, Hrithwik. And the world here is to see this young gentleman who has got so many things which he has already achieved at such a young age. And there is so much that we are going to learn through this chat. For the viewers, let me tell you this way this particular program is going to flow. We are going to ask few pertinent questions to Hrithwik about his journey. Later on, we move to questions which the children from schools across India have posted for Hrithwik. After that, we come to an interesting session of rapid fire with Hrithwik, followed by my turn now. Yes, Hrithwik gets to ask a question to me, and that's how we are going to learn. and know more about each other. And this fantastic youngster being featured in the 20s. So, Ritvik, are you ready for the questions?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We are good to go.
We are good to go? Okay, great. How's the Josh?
Hi, sir.
Wonderful. That's how. That's the way to start this particular show. Great. The path that you have chosen, a majority of the youth would like to think twice before taking it. Starting an NGO, pursuing sports and growing to an international level, choosing to join the armed forces, and actively conducting professional debate sessions at national level. Most of them would want to follow a traditional path, pursue academic career and go ahead and join an MNC. What made you choose this adventurous path? And what are the challenges that you had to overcome to pursue this path?
Right. Ma'am, I would say that through the support of everybody, through the support that I have got throughout, this is the reason why I could have chosen such a unique path. I would like to quote one of my favorite quotes from Colonel D. Lawrence, who is a military intelligence officer, who was a British intelligence officer from the World War II. So he quoted, and I quote, that all men dream, but not equally. And I've always, from my childhood onwards, I've always wanted to live a life less ordinary. And I always felt that life is very precious and I should be able to make the most out of it. From a very young age onwards, my parents had introduced me to a lot of camping, trekking, and most of the outdoor activities. And I was also a kind of a chap who loved going outdoors more than staying indoors. So from that young age onwards, somehow that thinking process started in me. And from that young age onwards, that thinking process has started in me, and I was inspired by things that took place around me, that were surrounding me. And as I started doing it, never did my parents say that, Ritvik, don't try something new. They were always open to something new, some kind of new idea that I was there with, which is the reason why at the age of 12, I could start an NGO. I had no idea that what an NGO is, but I only had the thought in mind that I want to help these tribes. I didn't know what to do, how to do it. I only wanted to help them. And that is how these things have started. And throughout this journey, my parents, my comrades have been very helpful to me. And which is why I could choose to be on such a path. And so that is why I could choose for such a path. And in the end, I realized one thing, that whatever you are doing, you must be proud of it. You must feel that you are doing something which is worth and something which is helping the society. So whatever deeds you are doing should be in some or the other way helpful for the people who are around you. It does not matter what people around you think. It does not matter somebody might say that this is completely not career oriented. This is something that is not going to help you in your career. But it is finally about what you think you should do. And it is not about what somebody else thinks. So I quite did not face a lot of challenges, because my own parents were very supportive. My teachers were very supportive, which is why I could choose such a path, ma'am.
Beautiful. And even to have this kind of a thought to do something for the community at such a young age definitely is very, very inspirational for many of us, because usually we hear people quitting a corporate job and retiring and then going on to villages and trying to do something for the society. Yes, that is highly appreciable. But along with that, the very thought that you had such a young age is very, very inspiring, Ritvik. Thank you so much for being what you are, right?
Thank you, ma'am.
And though it is an obvious question, but our viewers would definitely like to know, why only badminton?
Ma'am, it is one of the finest questions, and it is one of the most important questions for the viewers, I feel. So I was never attracted so much to badminton. I always loved playing football, and football was life for me.
Okay.
So at in around my fifth or sixth standard, because my because of my academic scores were going very down, my parents were suggested that Rutvik should be taken to a psychologist for some kind of psychological attention. So I proudly say that because that has brought the best out of me. So the psychologist there advised that Rutvik must indulge into some kind of individual sports, and he was very kind. He even made it to the school. He told the school authorities that you support to allow this student to go out into sports. So my parents took advice from the sports teachers in my school, and these teachers recommended that let Rutvik start taking badminton up as an individual sport for now. So I was very disappointed at this decision because I always loved playing football, and badminton was something I had never thought of. So I was very disappointed, but I decided ki let us go on with this, since I had a badminton court next to my house. So I went there. My parents enrolled me into that hall. After a year or so, I started playing pretty in a good average way, and then there was another disappointment that took place there. But I don't consider it as a disappointment. That was a challenge that I overcame. So there, the coach there that club said that the kind of basic techniques that Rutvik is carrying, I don't think this can help him anyhow in achieving anything else than this level. So my parents also felt that we don't think that this is actually happening with him. So my parents sent me to a bigger club, sent me to a better club where I got even more training. And because of that, I developed liking for the sport. I developed passion for badminton. And that is how I started taking up badminton very sincerely. And to all those viewers who are watching, it is a must that you take up some or the other kind of sports throughout your life, because sports have got some of the things that get imprinted into you, not on paper, but they are off paper. So it is very important that you take up any kind of sport. And I'm very thankful if my psychologist is hearing this, who are watching. I'm very thankful to him that he suggested such a change in my lifestyle, which is why today I'm here, and I'm very thankful to him and the teachers who've supported me.
Great, Ritvik. You know what? You have brought out something very, very interesting, because as a principal, I have observed that when we recommend, and this is about mindset and perception, when we recommend that a child has to meet a counselor, there is a mindset which says that there's nothing wrong with my child. मेरा बेटा तो बिल्कुल ठीक है. There is nothing wrong, or nothing wrong with my kid. And why should we go to the counselor? Why should we go to the psychologist? So when a school recommends this to us as a parent, we got to take it positively and understand that this can also lead to something very, very positive in their life. Thank you so much for bringing this out and making it so visible, audible to the viewers. Ritvik, going ahead, you are the youngest player to represent India in the Verbundesliga National League in Germany, Europe. What was your experience playing there as the youngest person?
Ma'am, Germany was one of the best times that I had playing competitively. At the same time, I enjoyed a unique brotherhood that I developed there with my teammates, with the people there in Germany. And so Germany is very rich in terms of sports resources, and they've got good equipment, they've got everything, they have got a great setup for everything. Badminton is not very famous in Germany. They are more used to playing football, but it is an emerging sports in Germany. So the German people there have got a large attraction now towards badminton. So I was very privileged. I was in a town called BC Recklinghausen. I represented the team called BC Recklinghausen, the first team of BC Recklinghausen, and I was a part of the doubles contingent which was there. So to tell all the viewers, it is completely a very different feeling when you're playing outside your own country. And there are a lot of factors that come in. There is a lot of pressure when you're playing for some other team in some other country. You're playing on a foreign land. You don't know most of the people there. It's a different feeling. But I could convert all these things into positives. And I was also the youngest member of my team. Not only the youngest person from India, but the youngest person from my team as well. And I had experience previously of playing in Asia. I played in Dubai as well. I played in Malaysia as well. So I had got the experience of playing in Asia, but the European style compared to the Asian style is completely different. So the European style was quite different to me. So it took me a little time to adjust to their style, because the Indians have their own style and every country has got a different style. So the Germans had a different style. I was very lucky to have played amongst with players from Poland, from Germany, and from China. So I got a very different experience. Also, I had to make extra efforts as the people from Germany were actually much taller to the Asian people. And so every match I had to be at my best. Every match I had to run. So it was a great experience for me. And traveling across Germany for all these tournaments, and it taught me a lot of life lessons that I would never learn if I would have not played in this league. Also, the kind of sportsman spirit that the German people carried there was something so amazing. It was so amazing that usually all over the world you see that there are umpires for matches, but there in Germany, surprisingly, at times there were no umpires, and there was no kind of argument that took place amongst the players. So, which is a very great thing. They mutually agreed on decisions. They respected each other, and so I was very much encouraged from this experience of mine. And I feel if I'm invited again, I would love to go back again there. And it is on my list that for the next year I will be playing a league higher to that. I will be playing the Oberliga in Germany. So that is something that is there on my list. But overall, it was one of the best experiences that I had in my life.
Interesting to know that a match happens without an umpire or referee. Interesting. That's an insight that you have shared with us. Thank you so much. Having played at the global level and in tournaments like the World Tour's Super Series 500, I'm sure you must have faced a lot of pressure situations, right? All of us are facing it now during the pandemic. How did you deal with such situations? How fit does an athlete need to be mentally? I repeat, how fit does an athlete need to be mentally to pursue sports at a professional level?
Yes, ma'am. Be it the global level or be it the domestic level, the amount of pressure that you face is quite similar. But it's just that at the global level, there are lights, the atmosphere, the aura is quite different. So if you're going there for the first time, you're bound to face this pressure. But an athlete prepares for that. This is what an athlete is always preparing for, the kind of efforts that an athlete is putting in. It is always to fight and to win. So every time if I was in a situation that I'm facing pressure, that I will always remind myself that if Sindhu can, if Saina can, why can't I? We are from the same soil, which is how I overcame this. And so before every match, there used to be an announcement made. So before every match, there is an announcement made saying this particular player coming from the city. So whenever Rutvik Ambekar India used to be announced, I realized that this is more than a responsibility for me now. When this India comes along with your name, it is more than a responsibility for you. So I have to take this as a responsibility, and I have to prove the worth of my soil. So every time I would only keep these things in mind, that I have to take it as a responsibility, and that is how I overcame pressure. But nevertheless, I had introduced myself to spiritual processes. I am a follower of Sri Sadhguruji, and I follow the Shambhavi Mahamudra Kriya and many more meditations. So very before matches also, I used to do all these things to keep my mind peace and calm. So to keep all these things, I did all these things. And coming to an athlete's mental strength, yes, an athlete must have more mental strength than the strength that he has physically, because the kind of routine a professional athlete goes through, it is about 6 to 8 hours of training, and to recover from these 6 to 8 hours of training, it takes a lot of time for you, a person, to recover. At times you don't recover, but here is that mental strength that comes into place, where a person needs to fight with his own brain. A person needs to overcome his or her own strength, and he has to go beyond a certain point. He has to exert himself, which will make him a better athlete. So mental health is something that is a must in all the athletes. And as you mentioned earlier, that I want to join the Indian Armed Forces, so I would always consider training as a challenge for me. I would always think ki, yaar, if I give up now, if I stop now, how will I join the armed forces? How will I become a commando if I want to? So every time I was down, every time the chips were low, I always motivated myself. And that is how I came out of all those things. So every person must have this one thing that should pinch him to get up from bed and go for training. So that is how I overcame this mental pressure, and also worked on my mental strength.
Interesting, Rutvik, because when we go to see, most of the time people say that anyone who's been an athlete, who's played a game anytime in their life, they handle stress better. Maybe because, and I've heard this from very popular sports personalities, they have shared that the reason they are able to handle stress better is because they have lost a match or a game somewhere, and they knew how to handle it, stood up again, and went ahead for their next match. Right? So this is something which has been very, very inspiring to hear. I've been a sports person myself and been in the team, and that is what I feel makes a difference for all of us who have been into sports. Great. So going to the next round, Rutvik, as you know, when we announced the questions, the 20's, we had announced that we will be taking questions from schools across India. So we are going to pick up the questions that all of you, or many of you, have posted for Rutvik very specifically. Are you ready for the questions, Rutvik?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This comes from a very special person, because this comes from the first question I would like to take for Rutvik will be from his ex-teacher. Okay? And she asked this question, and here it goes. What brought a massive transformational change in you from a student who was frequently involved in some kind of mischief to an honorable chief guest in the same school? Yes, Rutvik was the chief guest of Vicky Patil Memorial School in Pune. And how did this transformation take place in you?
Ma'am, absolutely. My teacher has got one of the best questions that I've been asked frequently by these teachers. So, to all those who don't know, behind all of this is a boy who was very introvert, not very outspoken, academically below average, I would say. And I was an example of the now very famous term, which is called as the backbenchers. So I was in that part of the classroom. Out of the 15,000 hours that I might have spent in the school, 10,000 hours might be standing outside the class, and 4,000 hours, rest of those hours were on the playground of the school. So I was that kind of a chap, and my parents were very frequently invited to school. There were complaints in line. I had to buy new diaries for the so I was that kind of a student in school. And sports has built that maturity in me. I began to prioritize things later after in my 10th standard itself. I began to prioritize things. I realized that this is not going to work for a very long time. So I moved. After that, I kept traveling. I kept traveling alone. I used to travel for tournaments. So this built a different kind of a maturity in me, since I used to stay independently. And even the school teachers, even though I left school, all those teachers were in touch. I was in touch with all those teachers, and they have been a very big reason in grooming me. And now I really realize now that school was one of the best times that I had. And the school has actually groomed me into a person that I am. So the initial learning stages in school are one of the most important times in your life, where जैसे how a building is constructed, the depth of the building, that is the main part of the building. Similar is with the school. So school is the very most essential part that I had, and I'm very thankful to Vikhe Patil Memorial School that I was a part of that school, and I feel very honored that I could be in touch with those teachers. I had very great principals as well who have supported me in every venture that I chose in life, even after school. So coming to being invited as the chief guest in the same school, I was never used to going on the dais in school. I only remember going on the dais either for the misconduct that was announced every Friday, or for any kind of the sports awards that were announced in school. So to be very honest, I always had a dream that I want to come to school as a chief guest. I always had that dream ki I want to be there. I want to speak on that dais. But I had no idea that it would come so soon. And the day I received the call from my principal, I was so glad. I was so honored. It gave me a sense of small accomplishment, and it gave me a sense of responsibility also. Because once you have come to your school as a chief guest, there are people looking at you, and you owe a responsibility to the school now to perform even more better.
Absolutely.
So that is how this journey has been, from the misconduct dais to the chief guest dais.
Lovely. That's a beautiful thing to share. And this is for all the teachers who have been seeing the children who are the backbenchers. So here we have Ritvik, who sets a very different definition of backbenchers. Right, Ritvik? Okay. So here we have Amit from National Public School, Bangalore, asking a question to Ritvik. He says, sports is expensive with a coach, careful diet and travel. How can exceptional player with financial challenges afford this? Can you recommend any such academy known to you who offers quality training and sponsor few budding talented players in the field of sports? So if you can help him understand how a child who cannot afford expensive coach and training look forward to achieving great heights like you.
This is an absolutely great question that he came across, because very often do athletes face this challenge of economical and the sponsorship regarding things. So there are a lot of NGOs which are helping, like the Virat Kohli Foundation. Then there is Khel Mein organization, or the Project Khel, and there are several government initiatives also taken care by the state government. Nevertheless, there are about 70% of the Olympic sports do not require any kind of equipment. So, which makes achieving gold medals even more. It gives a chance to achieve even more better results in sports. I certainly agree that there is a financial challenge, and as we are a developing country, not everything that is supplied does reach to the roots. of our country. So for the budding talent and for people who really feel that they want to take up sports, they should personally approach these NGOs. They should personally mail to these NGOs, because these people are always in a hunt to help people. Even our NGO, the Tribus, is looking forward in the future. We are also going to bring out people from the villages to play badminton. So we are collaborating with academies, and we will be trying to bring out a lot of athletes from the villages to play badminton, to play other sports as well. In Maharashtra itself, Maharashtra has got an initiative called the Krida Prabodhini, which is working on a very vast level, and they have also been successful in bringing out a lot of athletes. So for people with financial challenges, I'm sure everybody does face a financial challenge in sports. Once you start performing well, you are always given sponsorships. But for those who are not yet sponsored, who are yet to be well accomplished, for those people, you can always approach these NGOs, ma'am. The Virat Kohli Foundation or any other NGOs.
Great.
The information is readily available on the internet.
Great. So that's a welcoming, thought for all those who are looking out for sponsors. Thank you so much, Ritvik, for sharing that. We've got Fatima Sabir from St. Anthony's Public School, Kerala. She has this question for you. What is the best way to identify one's passion?
The way to identify one's passion, something that wakes you up from the bed and doesn't let you sleep at night, is your passion. So basically, the way how I realized what my passion is and what should I take up in the next few years is that from a very young age onwards, my parents had introduced me to a process called the goal setting. And in this goal setting process, my parents used to take me out for a day or two for an outing, and there we used to write in our diaries. And I was already introduced to what goal setting is. So my parents had already told me, and I used to write those goals. So very fortunately, all those things that I had written in my diaries at that point of time have actually come true at some point of time. I don't remember where those papers have went, but that is how a thought process starts.
Exactly. Yes.
That is how the first thought process has started in me. And so goal setting is one of the most crucial things that one must do.
Lovely.
And a passion should be something that even after 25 years, you should feel the same thing about it. Even after 100 years, if you're given a chance to take up the same thing, you should say that I will definitely take up such a thing. And like I mentioned earlier, at the end, you must feel proud about what you are, what you have done. In the end, all that matters is that you have to feel proud about it.
Yes.
And I always felt that something might get you money, something might get you comfort, but a passion must be something that should give you the inner happiness, the inner satisfaction. So that is how one must choose his or her own passion and make his or her life worth living by their passion.
Great. Ritik, you have already shared about the origin of Tribus. We would like to hear more about tug of words. What is tug of words, and how do you think it can help the viewers?
Ma'am, very recently, I, along with my comrades, came up with this initiative called the Tug of Words. It is a debating forum. It is a pan-India debating forum, and we have got participants from all across the country. So we started this forum with an idea of knowledge gathering, and knowledge gathering in terms of geopolitics, geostatistics, international, national, current affairs. So these would actually help the people who are UPSC aspirants, people who are looking forward to gain knowledge, and those people are in their initial stages from the age of 19 to 25. So all those Indians who are in their age of 19 to 25 are allowed to join this forum. So there is a screening process which is set to that, a certain amount of tests that you have to clear in order to join this forum. Okay. So this forum is live on YouTube. I think every Sunday we have got debates on social issues, on issues of national, international relevance and geopolitical relevance. So we started it back in June, and by now, by September, we have got around 4,500 people who have been following us, who have been seeing our lives that have been going on, and we have got esteemed chief judges who come there as judges. So in the next week onwards, from the next week, we are going to have the chief of air staff, and we have previously had leaders like Captain Raghu Raman sir. We have had people like Captain Dharamveer Singh sir, a lot of armed forces officers also. So if you are a person who wants to take up defense, this is definitely a great place to be on. We have had 3 people from our forum itself who have been recommended to join the Indian Armed Forces, and who will be soon joining the Indian Armed Forces. So Tug of Words has got a motto of words are ammo, knowledge is strength, and debate is war.
Wow.
So it is a great competitive forum where you share and where you learn. So that was about Tug of Words, ma'am.
Interesting. So all those who are aspiring to join the Defence Forces, this is one platform created by a youngster here, Ritwik, and you all can. And where do they go and log in? Would you like to share some more details about how to join? Just go to YouTube and look out for Tug of Words.
For those who wish to join the Tug of Words, you can go to any of our social media pages. We are there on LinkedIn, we are there on Twitter, we are there on Instagram and Facebook. You can just send a message, and one of our members will get in touch with you. That is how you can enroll yourself in the Tug of Words. You will have to fill a form, and followed by a selection procedure that will be there, and that is how you will be inducted into this forum. Nevertheless, if you only wish to see the debates, you can also join us. You can also send a message to us on any of these social media sites, and we will send you the links of the debates that we have, and we will keep you updated by that.
Lovely. Great. So that's a lot of information for the viewers. We come to the next part of this interaction. Ritwik, this is going to be very, very interesting for the viewers. We are going for the rapid fire session. Are you ready, Ritwik?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Okay, fine. Just whatever comes first to your mind, you're gonna answer. Okay? Great. Who is that one inspirational figure in your saga of success?
Ma'am, only one?
Only one. That's why it's rapid round. Tough. Yes.
Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw.
Okay, wonderful. So definitely he inspires many more people, and you being an aspirant for defense. Yes, great. Next question. A moment of failure you cannot forget.
I'm not being able to be a part of my university team.
Okay. University. Can you elaborate on that answer?
Ma'am, there was a time where I could not perform really well. So this has got an interesting story. So I could not be a part of my university team, and I was very upset. I am going to play. After that. In that point of time, I was very upset for the next 5 to 10 days, saying that I cannot even sit in my university team. What will I do further? And it is in this time that I got an opportunity to play my first international, which was in Dubai. So if you lose something in life, it is followed by something good.
Okay, that's interesting. That's nice to know. Yeah, that's very motivating. Okay, the next one. Quick answer. Okay, Ritwik?
Yes, ma'am.
Which would you prefer to play, singles or doubles? Why?
Definitely doubles, ma'am.
Definitely doubles. Why?
Singles is too slow for me.
Okay.
Ma'am, singles needs to for a singles player, you need to have a lot of patience and you need to run a lot. So which is why I said singles is too slow for me.
Okay, got it. Great. Now, Tribus or Tug of Words, and why?
Ma'am, you're putting me into trouble. I would say Tribus. Ma'am, I would say tribals.
Why?
Ma'am, since tug of words, there are a lot of people who will be able to take care of tug of words. Even though I say tribus, because in tug of words we have got a 10-member committee. All of them are very equally passionate, and if I want both the things to prosper, I would definitely prefer tribus, because that is somewhere I need to pay a lot of attention in.
Okay, great. The last one. If not army, then what?
Oh.
Yes, you've got all 5 tough questions, but that's how it is.
If not the armed forces,
Yes.
I'm quite good at sports, as you know. So I would definitely, if not the Indian Army, then I would go for the paramilitary forces that we have, the uniformed forces, the
Interesting.
paramilitary forces. And if not the paramilitary forces, I would go into something related to sports, be it into coaching, because even that is a front where I can help people from our soil itself to come up. So if not be able to represent India on the war frontier or on the armed forces frontier, I would represent the country in the coaching part.
Brilliant. Now the viewers will know exactly why we call them the 20 brilliant Indians from India, across India. Yes? Lovely. Thank you so much for this. Now it is my turn. Great. Okay, go ahead. Shoot your question.
Ma'am, the question which I would like to ask you is that a lot of arguments have been held recently with the new education policy that we have. And the question that I would like to ask you is that do you think India is on a good part in terms of education? Are we leading to a better tomorrow? And what do you think? How will the education part be in our country after the new policy that will come in?
Yes, there's a lot of discussion happening in terms of the new education policy, and for all of us to know, it is very, very important to understand what has been the previous policies of our country, because something radical cannot happen overnight anywhere. And India is a very, very populous country. It's a huge country with so much of diversity in education. I'm not even talking of diversity in any other field. There is so much of diversity in education. There are so many different boards and different challenges. I've traveled to interior villages of our country where we cannot go by car. We have to step down. We have to walk many kilometers. There we get to go and see a particular structure which they claim to be a school. And there are enthusiastic children sitting there. There is an enthusiastic teacher. And we have seen so many videos. Here I would like to quote. Here we have seen so many videos where everybody is ready to laugh at the spelling that the teacher writes on the board, Ritvik. But my heart goes out for that teacher who's ready to teach in those places where none of us are ready to travel. So let us not laugh at those teachers. Let us understand that if not for that teacher, even teaching whatever she knows in the interior parts of our country, then we will be another 100 years behind. So let us appreciate the effort of every teacher that they are making during this pandemic. The greatest, I would say, a big, huge revolution has taken place in the lives of teachers. So the new education policy has got some fantastic proposals which needs to have some lovely implementation for it to become a reality. So the implementation part is the part which needs to be looked into for this to become a reality. It has a great vision. Definitely it has a great vision. It is based on our previous policies. So there is a gradual transition. It is not an overnight change, and our country can definitely look forward to, because we are catering to, as I told you, a place where there is hardly anything called school existing to an international level. So India being diverse in education, there is hope with a lot of youngsters like you who are trying to make difference in whatever little manner you all are making. And hats off to every principal who is today struggling. Many principals are struggling with technology. Many teachers are struggling with technology. In spite of that, they are making an effort. So the complete bandwidth is today addressed by the new education policy. So we are in a very, very hopeful stage right now.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Actually, I also have happened to have witnessed something similar, like you mentioned, in the villages. So I was also in parts of the interior villages where the teachers would passionately travel. They had to travel 130 kilometers every day, and they could have gone somewhere else, but they chose to be there in that school, which is a very great thing. And I really appreciate, like you mentioned, all the teachers and the principals who are working everywhere in these interior areas as well as in the city areas, because I'm sure it is not an easy thing to travel 130 kilometers or travel any amount of kilometers and go into the interiors of villages just to teach the children.
Yes, and the most important thing is there is hope, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ritvik, for being a part of the show where you have expressed to the audience what grit, hard work, and smart thinking can do in transforming not only your life but everybody around you as a community. Thank you so much for taking time and joining us on this show.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It has been a great honor. Thank you to the Education News Network and thank you to the 20's. And ma'am, wishing you all the very best for this initiative. This is one of the greatest initiatives that I have been honored to have took part in. Thank you so much, ma'am. It has been the greatest honors to be here.
Thank you, Ritvik. Wishing you the very, very best in life. And for all those who want to get in touch with Ritvik, can reach out to him on his Instagram, Ritvik Ambekar, or you can reach out to Link the Dots 13 or on the Facebook page, Link the Dots. That's how you can be in touch with such an inspirational young man. Wishing you the very best, Ritvik. And dear viewers, the career, work, job, all that is going to be part of yours and your children's lives. What actually will set a great difference in the lives of your children is when you ensure that you prepare them for any challenge that life is going to throw at them. And then you will get to see that your children are going to create a new definition of success. Looking forward to hosting your children on the 20's very soon. Signing off for now, this is Dr. Nirmala Krishnan from the Education News Network, presented by Education Today. Thank you and have a great time.